So who themselves as a coach or themselves as an athlete runs some fartleks? Who's had experience of, say, using them either as a coach or an athlete, and how do you do them? Do they tend to be structured or unstructured?
For me, an insight tonight, because it's something I never do, and that is, it's thinking about the steady side of things.
Yeah.
I've often done fartleks, and they've been more like, speed sessions where they run really hard and then jog. So I really like that side of it, which is why I was asking the question about what's the definition. And I appreciate your answer. That was very useful. But yeah, for me, the insight tonight is it's the steady side of the equation is just as important as the fast side. So
I think it just gives a different dimension to the session that takes it slightly away from intervals into that active recovery. And like I say, I know for myself as an athlete, that's what I used to get the real benefit was when I turned into that session where we had a much higher intensity active recovery. That was when I really knew I was going to get the fitness benefit from it. And that's a way I like to use as a coach. So I'm glad that it's something new for you.
Right, sure. Your
athletes may not thank me.
Probably not. They're going to get a shock next time out.
It's interesting, it is, that jog recovery is changing that parameter, which we don't often change, do we? We tend to think about the pace of the intervals and not that bit, but it can make a big difference, but it's not easy.
My coach, I think it is the session we're talking about, but she would set me a tempo float. So yes. It would be tempo pace for, let's say, 5 minutes, and then a 5-minute float, which obviously is that kind of steady, a little bit quicker, but that sounds very similar to what you've.
Yes.
So it's the same session, isn't it? Just a different way of saying it.
Yeah, absolutely. It is. And that's what she's setting you. It's always terminology, about what you call things, but that float recovery in particular, again, is another way of describing what we're saying, that it's not a jog. And 5 minutes is, wow. How many repetitions of that would you do?
She would usually make me do that for half an hour.
Yeah, so similar to that one that I was showing, but yeah.
It can change. It might be, 7 minutes on, 4 minutes off, or 3 minutes off, and it depends on where we are in a block. We tend to do more stuff like that when we're working on marathons, but 5Ks, we're not really doing so much that kind of stuff at the moment. It's more the short, sharp stuff at the moment, track sessions and time trials and whatever. But when it comes to like building up that base, it's a great session, but it's so tough because, as you were saying, the recovery isn't a recovery. You're still got the finger on the pulse. It's difficult to kind of, you're not recovering, and then you've got to go up a gear again and come back down. But that back down isn't a jog. So it's that hover pace, and it's really tough when it's big blocks like that.
It is. I'm impressed. But I think it is highly effective, but it's not easy.
No.
But if you can get into that kind of rolling on, but as you say, again, it's quite interesting, the kind of specificity, because at the moment you're looking at 5K, so that's much more pace. But this, when you're building towards the marathon, it's really good in terms of just building your kind of, your kind of fitness within that range. There's some comments on the chat. So Gabby, I like the structures. I don't know how to run them otherwise. Yeah, absolutely. And I know a lot of runners I coach are very much the same. Although some of them after this might come back to me and say, "Well, I don't want to run it structured anymore." That's fine. I think sometimes a bit of structure does help, because what I find, if you're not confident, is that's when you fall into that trap of either running everything a bit too hard, and perhaps it all merges in the middle rather than having a bit of a range. Sharon says, "What approach would you take for designing a fartlek session for a club night when you've got a big mix of abilities?" Sharon, I would go back to that run back fartlek, to be honest. Whoops, I've just gone the wrong way on the slide. If I can get back to it. Like I say, I use it a lot on group sessions because I think it works really well. So around a course, we do it around a football pitch. So that we either do it around one football pitch or 2 football pitches. That's subject to any football matches that might be going on. But again, because I can keep an eye on everybody can kind of keep together. They can hear the whistle as well. So you do it on a whistle so people know when to turn around and come back. And I would aim for something that's between a ratio of 2 to 3. So that's 2 minutes good, 3 minutes back steady. And I always never really make them run for longer than 2. Occasionally I might put a 3 minute good run in there, but I tend to do 2 minutes good and actually repeat that. So often we'll do 2 blocks of that there, which is around 12 minutes of running if you add it all up. If you're going to do it on a ratio of 3 to 4, then obviously 2 minutes good is around 2 minutes 30 or something. I'd have to work it out. If you email me afterwards, I can work the ratio out, but I can't do the maths off the top of my head. Paul and I know each other. We were chatting earlier this week around marathon training. Yeah, that's where Gersha comes from. There you are. Now you know. Rob, I use Fartlek with a run dictated by throw over dice. Yeah, absolutely. Again, just makes it a bit fun. And I think that sometimes you can think that because something's fun, it's not making you work hard. But actually, I find as long as the runners are running at the right kind of pace that you want for those various bits, then actually making it fun can just, it can be fun as well as being quite hard work. And I think, we all need something that's a little bit less mental pressure. And I think adding that fun side in takes some of the mental pressure off. But thank you, Sharon. I will try and email you. Just to say, if anybody does want the slides from this tonight, I'm more than happy to email them out to you. And so just going back, here's my email address here. You can find it on the England Athletics website. So please do, if you have any questions afterwards, or you think, what was that we said about, or how does this work, or anything in particular, or you just want a copy of the slides, then, please drop me an email. I will get them off to you, and I will do my best to answer your question as well.